Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from sneakerfiles.com. Today we're coming at you with another performance review, and today it is going to be on the Air Jordan 8.0. So here's a quick look at the shoe, and without wasting too much of your time, let's get right into it. So here is the Air Jordan 8.0. As usual, start off with the bottom of the shoe here. As you can see, there is full-length herringbone traction, which is absolutely perfect. I really liked it, especially from a front to back standpoint. Front to back meaning front to back. Side to sides, it was pretty good. We have a few areas, like right here, that have the herringbone wrap up and around, which is nice for rolling and cutting off of screens and things like that. The only area that I had issue with the traction came on the right foot. I'm right-handed, so when I go to do a crossover, I'm going to my left and then, to my right, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be pushing off with my right foot and darting off back into the left area or direction. So this small spot, I mean, it's so small you'd almost not even consider it being an issue whatsoever. But when I would dart back this way, it just touched the floor in a way to where I ended up slipping. It only happened about 3 or 4 times, but when it did happen, it's really not cool, especially when you have the guy or your opponent. You know, he goes for that fake when you jab right, and then you go back left, and you end up falling. Not falling, but it's more like a really smooth glide across the floor, and then you end up landing in a planking position, which is, I wouldn't say it's embarrassing, but it's definitely not cool. So, you know, but that's the only thing that I had an issue with as far as the traction goes. It held up really well as well. This actually would work perfectly for an outdoor court. Cushion on the shoe is absolutely fantastic. It's a huge upgrade compared to the original models. And the retros. So the original Air Jordan 8 and the retro Air Jordan 8 featured a polyurethane midsole. The polyurethane was very dense and very hard, much different than what you would see on the Air Jordan 3, 4, and 5. And underneath your footbed, where your foot rests underneath the insole, you had a embedded air unit in the heel, and then a second embedded air unit in the forefoot. They didn't change any of that, which is great. The only thing that they changed is the midsole itself. They took out the polyurethane and they added Phylon. Phylon just, it really made the shoe. I don't know if you're going to be able to see all the creases, but that's just a ton of impact absorption, both in the heel and in the toe area. So there you go. It was just such a smooth ride. It was really, really surprising. They look pretty clunky. Didn't feel that way at all, especially since they added Phylon. As soon as you took your heel to toe strike, it just felt very, very smooth. And inside of the shoe, you have your Ortholite insole, which added a little bit more comfort. And then directly underneath that, you have that gray instead of the nylon. And then directly underneath that, there's a little hole right there, and that's right where the airbag is. So it sits directly under your foot, and it feels absolutely amazing. You can kind of see the heel airbag in this window right here. But yeah, so as far as cushioning goes, I thought that it was fantastic. I usually prefer Zoom Air, but when you have the air units mixed in with the Phylon and then, you know, the Ortholite and all that stuff, it just felt awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So cushioning standpoint, it was pretty much perfect in my opinion from what I'm used to. The materials are a mixture between patent leather here on the toe, and then it raises up right here for the forefoot, and then the midfoot section. Those are flywire pieces. These are kind of like flywire. They have the strands in there, but they're not connected to anything. They're just sewn on to the leather. And then you have the leather on the toe rand and on the heel. So the materials that they use on the upper is very durable. the materials that was on the midsole, as far as like the glues and things like that, it actually started to come apart. I doubt you're going to be able to see that there, but there's that section, and then I think someone stepped on my foot or something, and the midsole just started to peel off right here. So I don't know if you can see that, but the midsole is coming apart off of the upper, which is, it's pretty much a bummer. That happened during the first week of testing. So for a $150 shoe, that's not really up to par in my opinion. Everything else though, it held up really well. You could see that the patent leather, while it is creased and a little bit warped, it's not that bad. Same thing with the upper here. There's creases, which is great, especially since this is a high top shoe, which means that you have some flexibility, even though you're somewhat restricted. And then the heels area has the leather there as well, which is it's definitely more durable than some of the materials that we had been seeing on past performance models from both Jordan Brand and Nike. As far as the fit goes, the fit was, in my opinion, it was a little bit weird at first. Being a high top, I'm used to low tops and things like that. So here you just have a basic lace-up structure, and then you also have your inner boot sleeve with your dual cross straps. So because of the cross straps, I thought that I was going to be able to get away with only using the second to last eyelet, as long as I harnessed the two straps up there, and then it would secure my foot. That actually was not the case. I had to lace my shoe all the way up to the top eyelet, otherwise my heel kept slipping out of the back of the shoe. So that top eyelet there, it's absolutely necessary, and you have to use it. The interior of the shoe, there was zero hot spots, zero rubbing, nothing was rubbing my foot or ankle raw. You have the inner sleeve here, which is different than the originals. The originals had the neoprene. This one feels more of just like a really nice kind of stretchy material, almost like a lycra. And then interior, you had it kind of feels like wool. I don't really know how else to explain it, but it's really thick in there, and it's nicely padded, which is good and bad. Good as far as feeling and fit goes, bad as far as breathability and ventilation. But once everything was tied up tightly up to the top, and then you used both cross straps in there, everything really pulled your foot down, kept it in place, and also pulled it back towards the heel, and it was absolutely perfect. And then you have the design plate right here, which is actually a TPU cup. So instead of having a heel cup here, they put it in place underneath the foot, and it really holds the medial and lateral side of your heel in place, which essentially does the same exact thing as a heel cup. It's just doing it on the side, so you have a little bit more side-to-side support instead of just rigidness in the back. So yeah, materials fit absolutely perfect as far as fitting and maneuverability, being flexible, things like that. Durability, I really didn't like it too much. I don't like seeing my shoes start to fall apart after a few games, but it is what it is, and it could have just been my pair, who knows. But overall, I did really, really like it, and if it didn't start to pull away from the midsole, I would have liked it a little bit more. So as far as the breathability and the ventilation department goes, that, in my opinion, was one key aspect that needed improvement from the original and the retro Air Jordan 8, and that is the one key improvement that they did not do in this shoe. It was an absolute fail, in my opinion. There's really nothing in here. There's no perforations. No perforations in the sides. The originals at least had small perforations here and then up at the collar. These don't have it anywhere. There's no perfs on the toe. On the medial side, nothing. There's not even any perforations inside of the inner boot. So to me, that was a little bit surprising and quite a bit disappointing. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but Jordan actually had a hard time dealing with the Air Jordan 8 in the original form when he was playing in them. He had athlete's foot multiple times throughout the season because of the lack of ventilation in the shoe. You know, so that to me was a kind of a no-brainer mistake that they made, not upgrading any sort of breathability or ventilation on this sneaker. So you know, there isn't any, and it wasn't good. So that's pretty much that for. Alright guys, so that pretty much takes care of the review on the Air Jordan 8.0. Here's one more quick look. Overall, pretty decent shoe. A little bit disappointed in the ventilation department, since that was a key area that needed improvement from the originals and the retros. And then the durability was a little bit iffy on this. Could have just been my pair, or you know, who knows. But overall, it's a pretty good shoe. I would definitely recommend this, especially for larger players. I wouldn't say larger players, but more of the 3 to 4 spot. If you are a 2 guard, as long as you're inactive as far as, you know, huge crossover moves and a lot of slashing and things like that, because this area didn't keep up well with that aspect as far as like a 4-foot person goes. But overall, it's a very good shoe. So definitely a 3 to 4 spot shoe. 2 guards, if you're a slower guard, wouldn't be a bad idea to pick these up. And you know, so that pretty much is it for the Air Jordan 8.0. Make sure that you stay tuned, because we have a bunch of stuff coming up. So everybody always asks me, you guys got to check out my site, nightwing2303.com. We have the Adizero Rose 2.0s, which are almost complete. We have the Adidas Crazy 8s. We also have the LeBron 9s. And then, last but not least, we have the Zoom Rookie. These are all being tested currently. You can, you know, view the site for teasers and little bits of insight on the performance aspects. We also have some other things coming up. We have Power Grip. This is for your hands, so instead of using chalk, you'd use Power Grip. I don't know how it works yet. I haven't actually tried it. And then coming up very soon is actually going to be a review on Court Grip. You might not want to miss this one, because well, actually, I'm not going to say anything else. Just, you don't want to miss this review. Everybody keeps asking me about this, and I'll let you know whether or not it's a good deal. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of your support. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, as well as check out sneakerfiles.com and nightwing2303.com. As you can see, we've got plenty of stuff coming up, so keep a lookout. And until next time, guys, have a good one.